I'm Greg Nibbler, and this is Two Box Media. Well, CES is finally upon us, but like every major event, it's going to be a little bit different this year. Normally, the Consumer Electronics Show is held down in Vegas with all the glitz and glam and 180,000 plus people in attendance. This year, it's all virtual and online, but it doesn't mean that we're still not going to be getting some pretty amazing, innovative tech and gadgets out of the event. What we want to take a look at right now are some of the trends we foresee for CES 2021. Televisions. TVs are always a major part of CES, and that'll be no different this year with a bunch of major releases coming out. Bigger and brighter seems to be what the theme is going to be, and maybe less expensive. You'll have the usual OLED TVs, micro LED, and maybe some newer tech with the mini LED because we've seen a couple of releases already. LG has said they'll be showing off their new QNED mini LED TVs, and conversely, Samsung already posted their first look event, debuting their Neo Quantum mini LED TVs, which provides for some incredible pictures, and basically, they shrunk the standard size of LEDs to 1/40th of what their original size was, and along with some processing that allows for the darker areas to be darker and the colors to really pop. And you have Sony with an updated Bravia lineup, TCL with their new mini LED TVs, and of course, 8K televisions will abound because, whether you want them or not, companies are still making them. Needless to say, a lot for televisions at CES 2021. Computing is in for an interesting year. Certainly this year, we've all realized how important a good home setup is, and that's going to be reflected in some of the hardware that we see. We may not get a ton of new laptops, but the upgrades will definitely feature better webcams for one. Also, displays are going to be certainly huge. You've got a couple of new ones already. LG is going to be showing off a 48-inch 4K OLED display that can switch from a curved monitor to a flat television. It's a pretty cool use in dual functionality. You also have Dell with a 40-inch curved monitor that's aimed at content creation. This is something we'd probably normally have used in an office, but now it seems more fitting for your home studio. You'll also have AMD and Intel going at it as they have for the last few years, and it'll be exciting to see which one of the processors brings the most to the game for CES. Definitely, we all win no matter what, so it's pretty cool when it comes to that. Health technology is a booming segment that really encompasses a lot of things, whether it's fitness trackers or wearables to even heart monitors and medical technology, or sometimes a combination of all of them. There have already been a few devices that have won the pre-CES Innovation Awards, including this wearable from a company called BioIntelliSense. The tracker is called BioButton, and it's described as essentially a high-tech band-aid that can monitor a myriad of different health statistics, including temperature, respiratory rate, and heart rate, and then send that information to a remote doctor. The possibilities of this kind of technology are endless, especially since it's so hard for a lot of people to get into a physical location right now. I'm really excited to see what kinds of advancements we see from other companies when it comes to this combination of health technology. The auto industry has been a huge part of CES for years, but of course, we're not going to get to see those really strange, cool prototypes in person like we used to. However, expect some big announcements when it comes to autonomy and self-driving technology, one of which is coming from a group called the Indy Autonomous Challenge. Now, what they're going to be doing is staging a head-to-head autonomous Indy car race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway later this year. And at CES, they're going to be unveiling what that actual autonomous vehicle will look like. This could open up an entirely new version of auto racing, so it's pretty exciting. You've also got the Mercedes-Benz Hyperscreen, which is a 56-inch infotainment system that's being designed for their EQS electric sedan. This is the kind of stuff I would love to see in person, but just seeing this futuristic technology actually coming to fruition is exciting. That's a lot of screen space. I hope it's pretty durable, but nonetheless, pretty exciting. All right, let's talk about robots. Robots, always a part of CES, although I don't know if we're going to get to see our actual futuristic robot butlers right now, but our future overlords will be present. And certainly the pandemic is going to be a theme here as well, with sanitization being part of what these robots are going to be able to do when we go back to the workplace. One example, LG is releasing a sanitizing robot designed for autonomous use in things like hotels. It's pretty important to have something like that to go in there. It's safer for people. You also see use cases in subways and mass transit. Another thing that robots are big for this year is companionship. And in particular, when it comes to children, there's a robot called Moxie. Now, this is the newest iteration of that. And for children at home, essentially, they can take different educational courses through it, but also learn how to express emotions with their pal, Moxie. I mean, don't tell me you haven't spoken to your robot vacuum at home. I know I have, so it's not that far off, but certainly some big things with robotics. Now, when it comes to smartphones, we normally don't see a ton of things at CES, but this year's going to be a little bit different. We will have the Royole Flexpai 2, which is a curved screen phone. Now, you may remember their first one actually came out before Samsung. They were the first technically foldable screen phone on the market, and this is their newest version of that they'll have here at CES. Another thing will be 5G. Something that's always talked about at CES. A lot of devices have it now. You've got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 480 chip, which actually brings it down to some lower prices. So 5G is going to proliferate a little bit more, but expect to find out more about infrastructure from the CEO of Verizon at the keynote speech that they're going to be having. And speaking of phones, Samsung is doing something that's pretty unprecedented. Normally, they have their Galaxy Unpacked event in February, maybe March, something like that. They're moving it all the way up to January 14th. So the last day of CES, they're going to be having this event showcasing what's going to be their new S21 line of phones. We think that it's going to have a stylus pen attached. There may be some other Galaxy Buds that'll go along with this, but certainly with Samsung bringing this major event to CES, it adds a little bit more pop to what we've got. And those are just a few of the trends that we're looking at. Another big one will be smart homes and how all of that technology integrates with everything that we have in our house, smart assistants and artificial intelligence. Some big discussions there, including how facial recognition software is having a lot of problems and how companies are working to address that. And my favorite, the weirdest and wildest innovations that we're going to see at this event. There's always something that stands out there, so it's going to be huge. And there's a lot more, of course, and that's why I want to know what you want to know more about in the comments. Let us know. Is there something you're excited about? Is there a gadget you want to see? We'll try and get it for you. And of course, follow along, hit like, share the show, let other people know about it. I'm Greg Nibbler for 2 Box Media, and let's look forward to CES 2021.